Yeah. Pan a la carte. Players only. We inside, we inside. We're in the a la carte. Gonna have a nice discussion today with my brothers. Oh, and Olujimi. Yeah, man. There we see Olujimi. What's up?
Yes, boy. Yes. I hearing you loud and clear, boy. Music.
Nice, nice. Welcome to the a la carte. And yeah, Earl.
Hey,
Welcome to the a la carte, my brother.
thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Yes. But you know, we had to start. We must start with theme song. You understand? It's all about the passion.
Ay.
Welcome each and everyone. Today's a special day. I have on the program Earl Jr. La Pierre and Olujimi La Pierre. We're gonna do it nice on the a la carte. All about our passion. From that first night, there was magic in the air under the moonlight. So we're saying greetings again. Alright? Greetings again. We say something to the people. No thumbs up. Who going first?
Yes. Good morning, good afternoon. It's morning by me still. It's 11 by me, 12 all by all you. You know, so good
Yes.
morning, good afternoon still. You know, just give thanks. We're alive to see another day, bro. You know what I mean? Big up to Pan a la carte as well, too, man. For real.
Facts. Good afternoon, everybody. We live. Today we are live. What do you mean? We here.
Yes.
Start
Oh
sharing
my
the link.
God.
Start sending it out. Let everybody know we live.
Yes. We totally live today. Today is a special edition. This is our 16th edition. Right? So, you know, that's 4 months, Earl.
Yes, man.
You understand?
Very true.
So my brothers decided to join me on today's program, and let's send it live to just have a little chat. And you know, just get the blessings and the spirit of all of us on the a la carte. You know, no pan playing today just talk. So my name is Noel, right? And it's very difficult to talk about me, right? It's very difficult, right? So I'm gonna started this program. We kind of schisms kind of upon you, but let's pelt out something. Earl pelt out something. You know, understand? He's a son of a La Pierre, of the La Pierre. So, what's your feeling? What's your feeling about being a son of Earl La Pierre Senior and playing pan and you know, how do you feel about that?
Well, you know, everybody always has mixed emotions about being, especially me personally, because I'm junior, right? In all seriousness, your first son is supposed to be junior, right? And that's supposed to be you, Noel, right? And you were named Noel and I was named Earl. I don't know how that happened. I don't know what mix-up happened there, but when you become a junior, it's always people always predict or think that you should be or you're going to be exactly like that person. You know what I mean? Because you're a junior. You know, the apple shouldn't fall far from the tree. Or you're just like your father. You know, them kind of talks. I'm sure we all hear it, but I hear it all the time because I'm Earl Jr. You know what I mean? So whether it's the fact I have 4 kids, you're just like your father. You know what I mean? Whether, everything, no matter good, bad, ugly, indifferent, you're just like your father. So sometimes it gets a little annoying, and because, I don't really aspire to be just like the man, you know what I mean? Obviously, he has done his own things, and I want to set my own path. I want to live my own life. I don't want to be always compared to be, the junior. So I've always tried my best to kind of be a little different, you know what I mean? And I think we all have done that, even with the way we play. Our styles are completely different from each other and from his, you know what I mean? So everything that I have ever done is to try to be a little bit more different than him. Yes, we play pan, but I do it different. He does it different. You do it different. Jimmy does it different. So it's not easy being the junior, but I try my hardest to kind of, stay in my lane, leave him in his lane. You know what I mean? So that is my answer for being the junior.
Jimmy,
So it's not easy being the
as
junior.
being the youngest,
Try my hardest to kind of, stay
yeah.
in my lane, leave him in his lane.
Hey,
You know what I mean? So I hear in the background somebody playing. Yeah, there we go.
yes, man. Noel, what's up?
I cool. But you, I want to hear your story because you grew up the longest under him, right? So you will have a total different story because none of us didn't spend that time under him then. So let me hear your story.
Story. Huh. Everybody see the story and see how it was, for me at least, But like Earl said too, everything was different for all of we, and as for you to know, it's different for how we grew up and who we was around and who he was around the most and thing too. So, just that, I guess for me, I get more of it because of him, finally finding peace in the location where he wanted to be and spend the rest of his life, which is in the Cayman Islands, and I guess I had no choice but to see him now, and live it now. He in my home now, so so it's just different now to have to be around him now and grow up with him too from my perspective and hearing your all perspective and living your all perspective from your all stories too. So it was always different for me. I was never put in your all's shoes to feel what you guys feel and experience and take things, as they come, like how you guys took it. So my experiences was very, very different with having him around and for those amount of years as well too. So yeah, just I don't know, man. Just how it was for me,
I hear you. Well, mine wasn't because I was junior. Or because I do La Pierre's son. That the first greeting. That the first greeting that I got when I went in Invaders Yard. Hey, look at La Pierre's son. Man didn't call my name yet, I watch that.
For real.
Watch I do a job for a client home, going in the bank to deposit it and check. The guy said, I can't deposit this in your account. You have a next name? Who is Earl La Pierre? You understand? Going back to the office. Anybody here know my father? No. So how you all put Earl La Pierre's name on my check? But you's not Earl. Right? Interview. Pity upon papers. Right? Earl La Pierre. So it was hard for me making a name for myself. That was a problem, right? Because it was never Noel La Pierre. It was always Earl La Pierre's son. That's Earl La Pierre's son,
Right.
So I could understand what Earl said that everybody expect, right? So, and that was one of the things I was to do, build my own style and pattern, because Earl La Pierre was not present, right? Also, let me, as when I started, he was in Toronto. We used to just come Trinidad for Carnival. So it's not much I could say growing up that I experienced with him or being under him. It was really, it had nobody in my family other than my grandmother, Norma Adele Peters, and her husband, Hubert Peters, who was involved in PAN All right. Didn't have nobody to take me, no practice. Didn't have nobody to. If I need was to do anything, I was to go on my own. So I know about taking my own pan from home or from the pan yard to home, and walk back to the pan yard. And I know about that. Right? So
True.
my growing up was different. Right? Because my uncle wasn't into that pan thing. Right? He was no pan. He wasn't recognized as pan. Right? His eyes. So I was to do everything. So independently, if I needed advice, I had to go to Granny for advice because it had nobody giving advice back in that time, you know. So it was a bit different, right? And it's so much Granny knew, right? And I asked her, "Where's jazz?" She tell me she give me a version of her interpretation of a jazz. She's not a musician, right? But she didn't know how to really explain, but she gave her best, and I appreciate that because that helped me to be who I am today presently. You know, so let me move on. So Earl, so when you start to play pan, what just caused you to play pan? You up in Afropan, me just started just so.
Well, you'll be amazed. I honestly didn't like pan. To be very blunt and real, I didn't like pan. I started pan the latest out of all of us. I didn't start till I was like 15, 16 years old. So, and I always kick myself. I wish I started when I was younger, because I feel like I would have been further than I am today. But I started, and it was by fluke. Earl, as you know, it was known for having pans in schools, getting pans as a credit course here in Ontario and Canada. And it just so happens my school, and I remember this, Fairbank, was doing an assembly. And guess who was coming to play at my school? One of Earl's school bands. So one of the teachers thought it would be nice if, I went and play a song with, my dad. And I was like, oh, I never did that before. So I had to learn a song. And the song that I learned, I think it was Chopsticks. It was Chopsticks. So I went up and played Chopsticks with the band. I think it was Fergrove or one of these schools. I can't remember exactly which school it was, but that was my first experience. And then from then, started to go down by, Afropan, like you said. But I was a teenager already. So, I started real late and I picked up really fast. I had, the knack of picking up songs just by hearing it, like we all do. We hear songs and we could play songs. From that, I also started to play a little piano in high school and played trumpet or cornet. And I think one of the downfalls that I also had was the fact that I could hear music. You know what I mean? So to watch the sheet, I didn't need that. I thought that was soft. I don't need that. I could just hear the song and I would go on the trumpet and I'd just play it. So the teacher was amazed by that and didn't really push me so much to do the rudiments, and learn to sight read. And I kick myself all the time for that as well because it's like I wish I could do it, now, right? But I always had the knack to just play a song. Regardless to what instrument it was, I just go on and just find it, you know what I mean? So once again, to answer your question, I started, I think, very late. I wish I started earlier, but I was 15 when I first started. I think it was 14 or 15 when I first started playing steel pan.
All right. So the passion hit you one time there. You get the passion right there when you started. After that, Ibang school play. When it happened?
I don't think that's when it hit me because I grew up being in pan all my life in a sense because obviously being, like you say, Earl La Pierre's son and my mother being a part of the culture as well, we were, not to say forced, but we were forced to be in the band. You know what I mean? So I grew up with Uncle Leslie. Leslie's my godfather, and to Utrus, let her rest in peace, was my, both of them were my godparents. So they used to take a lot of care of me, you know what I mean? They used to just come and pick me up, take me from my mother, and just take me all over the place. So Leslie Jr. and I grew up like this, you know what I mean?
Right.
I considered him my older brother. So Leslie was a founding member of Afropan as well. So if I wasn't with Leslie, I was with Cecil, Uncle Muggs, you know what I mean? Jody and Quincy, we grew up like this as well. So it was always there. Summertime, no matter what, it was always pan. When I was young growing up, put us on the rhythm rack or behind Wendy Base. One of them two places we would be. Rhythm Rack or Wendy's Base. You could ask her. We'd be standing up on Wendy's base while people pulling it, and we'd be riding on Wendy's base. So, and Wendy used to take care of us. Yeah, Wendy used to take care of me, Jody, and Quincy back in the day as well. You know what I mean? So that was the person that we felt comfortable, the most comfortable with, because she used to mind us at times. You know what I mean? When our parents would go out, as Wendy used to come and take care of us. You know what I mean?
Wendy had the files, the archives.
Yeah, man. I tell people all the time, like, Wendy used to take care of me, but now we take care of each other because that's like my right hand, you know what I mean? With the shows and stuff that we do. So the passion didn't come until a lot later when I discovered that, you know what, I don't really need to do what Afropan does, and I could start playing what I like. You know what I mean? And that's when I started to dabble in the mixed music. That's when I started to come closer with Jay.
Hold it right there.
The passion. That's when I lick.
All right, but all right, go ahead.
But no, I'll go leave it at that. But that's when the passion licked, when I started to realize that pan is a musical instrument, and I could take it and I could play what I like. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's when the passion developed.
Yeah, because I started to go more parties and seeing more flexing. And anyway, Jimmy.
This is the music.
Jimmy, yes. Well, you start the youngest. Yeah, that's that. You, Aziza, what was you start the youngest?
Yeah, I started the youngest.
Right, but you was into more drama and thing. You was a dance man and thing. So your real stories there.
Came it right through was my life. Yes, man. Yeah, man. I started very young. The age of 2 was, I guess, professionally, when they wanted to make me a professional and call me that. I don't know how, you know. But unlike all your stories, to me, I didn't have no choice. You understand? All you had choices to move left and right, or pick it up or don't pick it up. For me, boy, I was right there with the man, so I had no choice, and he made sure that I had no choice every day. You know, so it was more of a regiment, more of a discipline kind of aspect from my angle for why I got involved in thing, and I just had to take it in my own way, grain of salt, and you know. But yeah, I started at the age of 2. From the age of 2, all I remember, I have videos and pictures of me on national TV performing with, you know, Uncle Mike's brother, Clive Rusting, who's residing in the Cayman Islands, with majority of the this famous calypso group, the Trade Winds. I know a lot of us know them as well. Majority of them are here, and they all retired here and just end up falling in love with the place, just like Senior. You know, he came here with Piracy Festival that happened with all of them to come and do this festival and show. They just end up staying here and living here. So that's how I was born. And that's how Cayman Islands came into the play, to be honest. You know, he fell in love with the place, fell in love with my mom, and that was it. Murder, She Wrote. You know,
that?
You know, and that was in 86 or so, and 89 now is when I born. 2 months after that, Pan was put in Cayman, in the high schools itself, and that is when the school journey started for Cayman, where they started putting in certain schools now, primary school, you know, high school, and now in the university, the Cayman Islands here now and things. So it's just like same with Earl's story. You know, for me, when I was growing up, year 1, first year going to primary school, automatically the school just wanted me to be their ambassador with everything. So I was involved from the National Music Festival from the age of 5 all the way straight up to like 23, 24 when I decided to say, you know what, I'm done with this. Yeah, man. I was always been the forefront of, from since I was young, to play everywhere, just because of who my father was and who he is, and that's Earl's son. I was always referred as Earl's son too for a long time in my life thing too now. So everywhere I go that was of some high standard, it was always like they just felt like they just had to expect it. You know, me playing there or me showcasing talents of music and thing. You know, I was probably one of the only set of students or young people too at the time who was very knowledgeable about music. You know, could hear things like Earl, hear things and just play it. It wasn't about the reading thing with no paper. As soon as that come in front of me, I push that aside. No, I didn't want to see that. You know, and from primary school, go to high school, you know, I was, as soon as I start, no matter what new school I went into, the first person I would always call was the music teacher, or send for me or get me out of class music, because they want to talk to me. They want to get me involved in the program. They know I play pan, but they don't have a pan. They have no sheet music for pan. They don't know how to transcribe for pan. So all them things, they were very young back in the 90s, and 91, 92, 93, coming up and thing when I was young. So And then when I got into high school, it got very serious too. You know, put straight into the band, orchestra every morning. You know, every morning before we start our lessons, I had to go to do practice with the orchestra, playing percussion. You know, they put in sheet music in front of me. I know the music long time, so I ain't reading things. I just pretend I'm reading.
Yeah. That's how it goes. Yeah,
See that is not a joke, you know.
Yeah, that's
Right,
serious.
that is not a joke. When they put the sheet music, they expect you to read.
Don't worry, I read it very well and I execute my part very well. I did.
We
what I
was up in UE.
very well.
When did it now start? This music program they have up in UE in the 80s. It was now getting into so they had a test run, and when I call myself, well, I was one of the lab rats.
The guinea pigs.
So the ones who they test everything on before they put it out and have it stabilized and think, yes. And yes, I topped that one, but we were there with Smooth was the instructor, Leon Smooth Edwards. Michael Gabriel was on that program, Telly Mack, Clarence Morris, Joggy from Exodus, a good batch of us, right? They auditioned and we were on this program. But we could not see properly. They give us a downstairs with one set of posts and thing we can't see. So we going outside in the yard. It has a mango tree, mango starch falling, boot up, man sucking mango. But the blackboard, the board blow down, the breeze blow down. The music was written on the board, and we continue playing, right? And that opened up everybody. That opened up a whole can of worms, right? We get to find who did not know the notes on the staff. We get to know who did not know the notes on the instrument, right? Because myself, Michael, continue playing, and Smooth was like, you're supposed to stop. It has no music there. What you doing playing? You understand? So, but our memory is so good, right? That once you play it, once you hear it once, that was it.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
That was it, right?
For real.
You know, so that was a big funny thing because it was no mango. We getting problems, so you know, because the board blew down, a kind of plastic board like it blew down, and we continue playing the thing, getting kicks now. What? One by one, you get to find who don't know the staff and who don't know their notes. That one was mind blowing. It's just that the man was just good. He was just good. He was just fast.
Yeah. And I can imagine that situation too, because like it's in a sense to where you say you get to see what really going on when that music going down, you know, who reading, who not reading, and who actually know the English too, because honestly there's people who can actually read, right? But as soon as I move, they're in problems.
Yeah.
Yes,
They
in
can't
problems.
They can't even play a thing. They would never tell you, okay, I know what this line was. Let me play this line. They wouldn't even be able to play a line or even know, okay, that's a B. This is B on my instrument. I'm hitting B now. You know, people forget how the instrument is too. So I can understand the moments too for the people who have such a good ear and playing this thing. As soon as that board go down, you continue and be like, oh, you know, it's all muscle memory too and brain memory and all this thing falling in place. So, you know.
So Jimmy,
And we just talk about that Sunday too. Muscle memory and brain memory, yeah.
Yes.
but Jimmy, let me go back. I'm going back to Earl, but let me ask you, when you get your passion, when your passion hit you?
When it hit me from probably year one, from then I knew what I wanted to do, and when I mean by that.
So what about the
too,
dancing? What about the dancing? You used to dance. What about the dancing?
Well, but that's what I mean. Like when I started off really taking part serious in school, when I started playing in school, Breads, and I started getting the reaction I was getting because I was the only one in Cayman doing that and doing it how I was doing it. The reaction that gave me passion for sure. That made me.
You
say,
was a road match. You was the road match. You was the road match going up in school.
Yeah, boy, and everything. I was the one that get first airborne piercing when I had the first earring and thing in school. People was vexed. Still was vexed. All kind of things. I revolutionized a lot for young people. Serious, especially for like what they doing now. But you know, that's a story. You know, that's a story. That's a story and a joke. Because my Earl was in local. So, you know, for somebody coming to a country and wasn't local and wasn't doing local things, you know how that is in Trinidad too. Or you know how that is anywhere around the world when somebody's not from the country and they feel like they're stepping on toes or getting the reaction, the response that other people should be getting for their things what they do. So it's like, all right, this man come here with steel pan and all, he getting all the attention, and now his son coming doing so. So it was a journey. It was a journey. I mean, and for me, it was positive for me. For him, I'm sure he had fight downs, but for me it was positive. Like as I started playing from school and people and children and kids started seeing what I was doing, that was it. I know what I want to do. I wanted to be that star, bro. I wanted to be that star in any ways
Alright, so
way possible.
we're going across the so we coming back to you and things. So when you realize now as teenager and thing, right, you get recognized and you can play other music and thing. What was the genre of music you went into at that stage?
Well, growing up in a lot of the, like we say, the black communities and going to school and having partners and thing, we used to listen to hip hop. We used to listen to reggae. That was the preference at the time. You know what I mean? Reggae and hip hop was it. You know what I mean? Yes, I would hear soca occasionally in the house. On a Sunday when mom's cleaning and that sort of thing, you would hear the soca's. And in the summertime, obviously, Carabana, you get more into it. But I grew up on hip hop and reggae. So when I started to put those together, it was like, geez, I'm getting a little bit more forwards because they weren't accustomed hearing hip hop on steel pan. They knew about steel pan, they knew Carabana, they'll see a band coming down, they'll be like, and they will go the next way. I've heard many people say that. Anytime I see the pan, I know it's time to go home. You know what I mean? But when I started to put in the more popular songs that I was hearing on the radios and develop them in a solid DJ mix, that's when it was a game changer for everybody and for me. You know what I mean? I think I'm one of the first to kind of do that kind of element where I would bring a 8-minute mix with about 15 or 16 different songs in it and just mix them like a DJ, talk in between. I even at one point I was doing the what they used to call the sports weekends, which Windsor would do a sports weekend. So it'll be the whole weekend. You'll have games and then you'll bring out DJs and you'll have fetes. And then there will always be like a cultural show. So I used to do London, I used to do Windsor, I used to do all of them out of town gigs. They used to have me as one of the closers because I used to just come and just flatten the whole place. Like nobody would want to go after me. And now I developed that and I said, you know what, I'm going to even take it to the next step. I had dancers come out. So I had a dance crew called Sick With It. 2 dancers who did the reggae. Then I had Dirty Dez come and MC the reggae. And I had MC the soca and the hip hop. And it would just land, like we would burn down these places. Like it was amazing. And that tour went on for a while, you know what I mean? And then another big thing that happened to me was a Carabana Friday. We had the opportunity, or somebody came and talked to me to bring Afropan to come and play at a show that was called Electric Circus. Carabana Friday, right? That's the day we moved from 44 St. George to the C&E. And I was like, okay, well, how much you paying? They're like, no, it's about exposure. I say, well, this is the people's band. No. We have enough exposure. You know what I mean? I said, if you guys want to come and bring your camera crew here, no, it has to be on King Street or wherever they are located. I said, well, fortunately, I can't book the band. I said, but Dr. J, Jester was playing in their KOS, who I'm a part of. I was like, if you want, I could come and do a quick session. They have the mix. We'll do it. She's like, all right. And that day, he was known as Puff Daddy then, P. Diddy, whatever he calls himself now. He was on the show. And I think that's when my career took off a lot more because people were like, damn. And then the next year, Puff Daddy had pan elements in his song. And it's like, he didn't call me, but he had pan elements in his song. And I think because of that, a lot more people knew the name E-Man because I was not going as Earl La Pierre Jr. It was E-Man. You know what I mean? That name was established. ESP. Extraordinary Steel Panis, you know what I mean? I would always go as that. I would never even use the Earl La Pierre. It would always be E-Man or Extraordinary Steel Panis because I wanted to differentiate the two, you know what I mean? So I think that's where it started for me, just the hip-hop and the urban vibes. And then as KOS progressed, we started to pump soca so hard that soca became the main genre that people wanted to hear in Toronto, you know what I mean? So a lot happened for me when in my teenage years, man.
Nice. So Jimmy, right? So you just come out of teenage, you was just in teenage years the other day. You was just there, right?
Just the other day.
All right, but anyway, let me tell you about you besides being the favorite or the number one, because every year you win wherever music festival across the right through your school career. Not so? Every year was So much trophies that you end up with.
Yes,
Eh?
boy. Well, this started from that first conversation we had earlier today with me starting in school from 1995 primary school. From then go straight until probably 2014, 15 is when I stopped into that competition. But
So
yeah,
what you had the record across there, and you hold the
yeah,
record for
I
most
definitely,
wins.
I definitely have the record for the most goal placements and wins in the whole music festival. 'Cause it's a whole month, right? And they do everything. They judge everything from instrumentalists, from orchestra, from drama, from trios to anything, drum, anything. They do all anything they call arts, culture, and anything drama. They do it. It's a whole week of them coming and judging that here, and something that it's a national festival, right? So, we were able to senior was able to implement a basic panorama kind of not panorama but a steel band music festival where you come in, we doing solo pieces, we doing classicals, we doing all kind of thing, boy. So that is what really got really serious for that, but for me, from 1995, man, I've been the first place winner right up until probably like I said 2012, when one of my friends down here actually took the open category, from the competition, which was really good. Remember Nicholas Bell? I don't know if you guys remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, him
Nicholas.
and Michael actually end up taking some good prizes that year, which is really really good. And that was
Yeah, because they get good training.
right.
When fellas I'm small, grew up getting it nice.
Yes. So
Getting it nice.
it was
I,
nice, man. It was nice having those type of individuals around too. But yeah, man, I have the record, the island record, and I soon make a post about that too, well too, because I know that's a good story for people to hear. The
yeah, man.
education system still has that in record as well too, and yeah, man, it's serious. It's serious.
Yeah, well, with my growing up as teenager and thing, as I tell you guys, it had nobody for me to look to or ask for advice. Right? So anything that I wanted to do, I was to do it independently. And I had a sad moment, a real sad moment, because I always growing up in Trinidad, felt that at the age 16, I was going to achieve certain things. Right? That was always my vision because, right, there's a lot your son, but when your father was so and so, you do so, when your father do. So it was that kind
Right.
of a regimenting, but it was something that was instilled in me, but it's only I alone could bring it out. And plenty of things had limitations, right? I wasn't in an environment to learn music, and if nobody home was into music for me to get that understanding. So in 82 music festival, my music teacher, Desmond Waite, did a song for me called Shadows, which was given to him by one of the adjudicators of the festival, Mr. Price. So the adjudicators know the song and stuff. But why is going to practice from him? Well, these are challenges one had to go through growing up. I was I was stopped. Granny stopped me from going to the rehearsal with Desmond Waite. And at that time, I was working nights at Guardian. And also, they was building the house where they live now presently. And same uncle who I started to play pan with, said, well, nah, you had to stay and do this. You had to build the house. You had to help and do this. We need help here. We need help there and thing. And jeopardized my opportunity of going to practice. So 2 days before the competition, I practiced from 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. Accustomed doing these things, right? From 6 one evening to 6 morning, right? And then to go and play. And Invaders had problems with the song, the change conductors, so everything, my head is not settled. I the senior player. So I have Invaders music, I have my music, I have other stress. And those challenges is not nice mentally. And I got a memory lapse on the night of that performance. I could not see anything, I could not remember anything, I could not hear anything, I could not. And the judges sent to call me back to perform the next night, which I won. But the minus points for what happened the night before. When I look back, is that Harold Headley, Earl, you know his brothers and his nephew.
Yeah.
He put me to sit down that night when I had the blackout while I was playing. And I told him my schedule, how it was for the day at that age. He was crazy, crazy, crazy. You see, sometimes people that just say things and they're not realizing what they're saying to an individual, it'll be misguiding or it just derail growth and not realizing you're not contributing to growth, because growth is development. So growth need the best watering or the best nourishment to succeed. Right? That is what I lacked. I didn't have that. Right? But when you run into people like Harold Headley and he sit down and talk to you, right? He helps give you back that confidence and motivation to continue moving. So that was part of my experience growing up, where it took me years to get back the confidence, right? I never go into no competition after that because I just get turned off of competition,
Yeah.
Right.
right?
Right.
So that is something that I was to live with personally. Regardless if I won the next night, regardless of how great the comments was, I did not achieve what it is I was to, right? It's only God alone know why, and myself. So, because the comments was good, all the comments from the judges was perfect. It was perfectly played. Even the night when I memory lapse and blackout and thing, it was up to that point. It was judged perfect, right? And
In life, you just find them kind of people to pull you and give you that inspiration again. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
that could
facts.
be a damper for you. Because I had talked about the whole Darren Shepherd thing. Remember when we first met Darren Shepherd? Like,
yeah,
we were all blown away by this individual. Like, it's like we didn't know who he was. He came to this show to come and play on the same show as us. Robert Greenidge was the headliner. You know what I mean? So that Mr. Headley, who helped you, and I see Kenneth is here. Big up Kenneth, and I'll talk about them too. Like, I went out to Vancouver years ago, and I met the Headley family through our partner Gary, and he just said, "Boy, I had to take you by the Headleys." I was like, "Who's the Headleys?" He's like, "You had to see the Headleys just play pan here, there's da. So local pan thing now. So pan people just stick together and thing." I was like, "All right, cool." So when I went over by their house, boy, they welcomed me into the house and thing, make a big feast. If you see food, we eat, we belly full. So we lime in now. They say, all right, let me go down in the basement there. Let me run some pan. And me now, I'm thinking, my eyes here so much pan, I good man, don't worry. Nah, they take me downstairs. And father and son, Kenneth and Kenrick, start to let go some music, boy. Boy, I felt like Darren Shepherd all over again. I didn't want to play. I didn't want to play. You know what I mean? And if you hear these two fellas, man, they holy effortless. You know what I mean? And they going in, they lashing and they stinging. This like the father to me, and I say this publicly all the time. He's the closest thing that I've seen to Sharp in a sense. You know what I mean? Like, this man just go in. You know what I mean?
Win festival,
Well, I
And-
didn't
and-
know all
and
of this
Kenneth-
when I first went
Yeah,
there.
Harold was defending champion, yes, music festival.
You see, look, Kenneth is on here now and he says thanks for
Yeah,
sharing
he
that
on.
story. Yeah, man, Kenneth. Boy, honestly,
Yeah.
those guys over there, and that's why I made it my duty. And when I came back, I said, Wendy, there's some fellas in Vancouver. We had to bring them for Autumn Leaves one day, but we had to. And
Facts.
yeah, man, we brought them, and I can't wait to. In fact, they would have been here.
Today.
They would have been here this year if we had Sons of Steel Toronto, because
Sons
I
of
had
Steel?
called them. Yeah, that's who I was bringing, the Headleys. Both of them would have come, man. So big them up for doing that to you. Robert Greenidge did that for me. You know what I mean? And like I said, I was
Man.
beyond scared. I didn't even want to
today.
play. Yeah.
Till to today, Harold, no matter where he's playing with a Mongol, Patissa, or no matter where he is, we just still connect, we just still vibes. It was a bond from that night. That was 1982. You understand? Because it had nobody was for me to talk to. Not even Buddy Manet. Buddy Manet never himself asked to hear this song. You know who was interested? That year we had players from Desperados playing. Mac Wilkin, Curtis Edwards, right? Them his big name. Sensi, them his big dick, right? Sugars, good players
Yeah,
from Desperados,
yeah, Dick and
right?
Shivers, boy.
Right?
It's funny
And
earlier
they
that
act,
hearing all these names, and I know these names, because I hear the stories with all these fellas that they
right?
talk about, and
And
I
they,
always in
and
some scene with these guys. That's serious.
yeah,
Yeah,
them was the ones who was interested in the song that I was playing, right? And even to blend my pan, Birdie didn't blend my pan. It's Lincoln Noel. You understand? Lincoln Noel,
real.
right?
Serious.
Yeah, man, because Birdie leave me stand up there waiting with my pan to get blend by. And he gone down in the complex. And I had to go get ready to go to the festival. Me and no Carte drop me nowhere, drive me nowhere. It's a bicycle and walk, right? So Pressure Lincoln say, I ain't supposed to do this, you know. I only supposed to do the background. When a man finish with that pan, Birdie hide the pan, yes, Birdie hide the pan, Birdie hide the pan. So when I went back the next night to perform, he gave me a he pan, a next pan. You know what the judges say? Everything perfect except the last note, B flat. It wasn't my pan from the night before. That might have helped me gain the finals, but say what? I learned a lesson. I, I learned a lesson. That's big time. Anyway, we're
That's
moving
history,
on.
bro.
We move. Good history, right? And it's real. We're talking life thing that we experience here, and, you
Boy.
know, as being a son of Earl La Pierre. It had a lot of pressure in it, man. You know, and people are just watching and tick, right? But, you know, God bless us. We can't complain. We're moving on, right? Well, in my journey changed because being in Trinidad, it had people who just like to push young people. I have one man, I want to call his name on this program, may he rest in peace. They call him Scatters. Some used to call him Scatter Nose, all kind of thing. And trust me, the only name I know him as is Scatters. If you call any other name, the right name on the birth paper, I don't know that name. I only know him as Scatters, right? He sent me out, well, he wanted to sell me out before that, and Granny said no. All right. And when H come now, he sent me out to Bermuda. You remember when I went Bermuda, Earl?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Bermuda was the next experience. Right? Changed my whole concept of approach of steel band performing because the first thing that I was told is, this is not a blocko situation, you know. Right? I get talk, oh, you're going Bermuda to play Yellowbird and Yellowbird and Yellowbird and thing, but Yellowbird pays bills. Yellowbird put money in people's pockets, right? So that was my step into professionalism. And before that, it was phase two, tour here, tour there, everywhere. And Bugsy Sharp, we was in Atlanta. And we was playing I Just Called to Say I Love You. And the place started to get dusky and dark. We was supposed to finish 7. This might be about 8:39 going. We still performing. And he played I Just Called to Love You. And he on stage right in front of me. And he started solo over and people started to bawl and carry on. There and then, my next dose of passion, the baptism come in. I said, this is where I supposed to be. Because all them time I'm a commercial artist. I said, but this is where I supposed to be. I watch the stage. And I feel like if I started to float because what was happening, the whole frenzy of the people, right, in Atlanta, Georgia, Piedmont Park, right, this is it. I am playing and I'm saying, this is it. Right? So I don't know how all they get it, but this is how it happened to me. It happened to me the first night when I leave home to go in the pan yard. I know I'm going to play pan. Granny alone didn't know I was going to play pan. Granny, Christopher, and Wayne did not know I was going to play pan. But I knew I was going to play pan. I didn't care if it was a lone piece of song or whatever, him just touch the pan. I was going to play pan. And in 1985, in Atlanta, I know stage. I was supposed to be on stage. I felt it. What about you, Jimmy?
Well, like this all solidified myself from 1995 when I started to play from school and get the reaction and start to play at festivals now because it wasn't just schools, it was the national festival, the same one I have the island record for the most wins and most goal. It went from that to performing at every major government endorsed program and festival that happened here with artists that they would bring in from jazz, from classics. It just started going, and then obviously traveling to Toronto, traveling to Trinidad, all of that was exposed to me too from day one. So for me, I already know what I wanted to do and how I wanted to take myself. It was just keep going forward professionally as a star and keep chasing that artist dream, bro. So, I mean, I got that bug early, and it was kind of forced into me early. It wasn't to say that I had options or I was seeing anything else. Sometimes, when you're seeing kids riding bike, you want a bike, kind of vibe. So it was like that. I seen pan, I seen stage, I seen performance. I live in it. Not only seeing it, but living all of them things there too. I feeling it. I practicing for certain things, preparing myself for this and that, and getting that mindset, conditioning myself into that human being. So it was always I want to continue from then to continue keep chasing that. However, whenever, and just continue just reaching the stars with the instrument. And just to touch back on like what Earl said, even when he started doing other type of music. I grew up doing classics. I grew up doing rare classics and jazz music. I was in that. I was in that. Playing seconds all my life. I was in that, killing it. And it just now I start to get older. Now you start to try new things, come outside of that whole music festival kind of mindset, and get more and more of a performer, entertainer kind of mindset, doing different music genres. Hip hop start to fall into play, pop starting to fall into play, more reggae start to fall into play, foreign music from Europe start to fall into play. Now you start to play all kind of polka and kind of thing. Music that you hear people playing, you're playing Japanese music, you start to play all kind of Indian music, French music, African music, so it start to grow, start to get more now, start to get more curious with the scene, and that start to chase other avenues, because back in the day it was just pan, Trinidad, Toronto. That's all I was told. That's all I was showcased. That's all I thought was life. And then, like I said, more things start to hit. So for me, passion just kept coming, evolving. The passion just kept evolving. It didn't stay the same for me. It didn't stay the same. It didn't allow me to settle either too, like how Noel, how and probably, I don't know, Earl probably settled a little bit, but not too much. But Noel, you that the way it was for you and how you grew up in the scene in music and pan, it was just like that for a long time. Before all this stuff happening now, like for me, I didn't get a chance to settle in that too long. It was always some kind of change where I had to adapt myself and adapt my surroundings, my environment, me as a person, the way I carry myself, the way we dress, the way we perform for certain different formats of shows and genres of music and this and that. You had to separate, you had to be versatile now. Not no more just building yourself into jazz, playing a classical player. No, you had to be versatile now to suit every occasion. And for you, that is where that change came for you when you went to Bermuda and Atlanta, when you start to see, this thing for me. What I want to do now is like this, and how I want to do like this is for me, because now it's fresh. Now it's something new that you tell yourself, boy, I can get used to this, and I like this. If I fix this, or if I improve on this.
Once you put your mind to it, boy. Once you put your mind to it, it comes faster than you expect.
Yeah, man. So,
because Atlanta was 85 and Bermuda was 87. Total professionalism, 6 nights, boom.
Yeah.
Right? So in between there now, you had was to prepare yourself mentally for anything that pops up, right? Because back then, it wasn't busy like how the circuit busy now with so many different players. And
for
so
real.
when your phone call, there was no cell phone. If somebody get your number and call your home
phone or
to
pager.
source you, to come in for you, right? So when you go out there, you had to be able to adjust fast, learn fast, right? Because standards, I didn't know that much standards. All the things you are and things will tell me about Rebecca, you would match or something, you understand? Because I live in phase 2. I only was playing booksy music. We had a lot of original songs, his panorama songs. We going on tour, so it's his music, right? So a new environment, right? And he has to get now, to leave now, to go and perform now. It was a whole big transformation, a whole repertoire change, planes, and I went out there and played a second pan. Not even a tenor pan, a second pan. So just to make the commitment to professionalism or to get the job done, it was not about excuse. It didn't have no time for excuse. Right? So it's a mental thing. It's all about mentally being prepared for what is presented to you as a musician. Because he's not a pan player no more. Pan player only exists in Trinidad,
Exactly. You're not a pan player
right?
no more. This, yeah.
He's not a
You're
pan
talking
player.
about a mindset. It's a different kind of
Yeah, yeah,
conditioning. Yeah.
right? So that was the big adjustment. Where now a lot of people seeing development of others, they could make that adjustment without even going through it, right? So, but back then it didn't have much to watch at or much to teach. You had to say there and then, job come, you had to take it and ride, so. Well,
Yep.
right? But early in your years, you end up getting to run a whole steel band. What I have done for you, really?
Yeah, I've been asked this question a lot. And to be honest, the joke is I never really thought about it until our brother Adisa, who we don't really speak to very frequently, but he put it into perspective that I was like, geez, I was never asked to run the steel band. I had no choice, in a sense. I kind of feel like Jimmy and what he said when he started from 2 years old. It was a transition. So Afropan, everybody knows Earl, the original, let's say 12, I think that's on the heads, right? Elton was the manager. And obviously, with time, everything does change, you know what I mean? So Elton was getting to the point where he didn't want to manage anymore. So it just kind of got dropped on me, which I see myself as a person who always goes out and gets things done, right? I do things. If you're not going to do it, I'll do it, right? And I was doing that for the last couple of years, even with KOS. So managing was in me already. So I just took it upon me, and I just started to do things. So I don't think I was ever asked to manage this band, but I just do it because it is a part of our life, whether it's the legacy. It's just Afropan has always been there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know anything else. Like, this weekend gone was Caravana. And I'm like, this is the first Caravana in my life that I was not in Afropan. You know what I mean? It got to a point that it was like, wow, I kind of, even though I know the work is hard for me because, like I say, I take on everything, I do everything, I kind of missed just the panyard element. I went down by the panyard and just to see it without a container, a rack, a pan, is just like, wow. That was the Thursday. The Friday was the Tunesville Pan Alive show. After the show, I literally left my house, quite out here in Whitby, just to go by Pan Fantasy because they was doing a panyard lime.
Bigger
Right?
fantasy.
Yeah, they were just going to show videos on a big screen and just have a lime in the panyard. And I think one of the main reasons why I went is because I kind of missed just being in the pan yard element. It didn't matter whose pan yard it was. I just wanted to see a rack. I just wanted to be around that kind of environment that if you're so accustomed to, you know what I mean? Like, I may not miss the work. I may not even miss the music, but I miss just the environment, the people. Because there's certain people you may not see for the whole year, but come block time or come pan
Big
time,
reunion.
you're going to see them people. You know, you miss them people, you miss that. You know, it's like, it becomes a family then. You know what I mean? You look out for one another. So, and just going by Pan Fantasy, we got that, you know, and there was a lot of other peoples from other bands there too, you know what I mean? I bunks up Rudo there, I bunks up this one, Andrew Jackson. So just being in that kind of element, even though they wasn't playing no music or nothing, even for them, you know what I mean? They missed that too. You know, so to go back to the question, it was not really something that I thought I was going to do because I know for a fact that I was never going to arrange. You know what I mean? I don't think I have that skill set to even want to do that. I've always said that not for me. You know what I mean? Really and truly, it's time that Jimmy is the arranger. You know what I mean? I say that publicly in bowl all the time. You know what I mean? It's time, if we're going to continue this, it's time for that to be passed on. You know what I mean? And I really think the management element for me, all it is for me is I want to make sure that I do what I have to do to make sure that the band is there. So whether it's an engagement, whether it's Caravana, whether it's Pan Live, I'll make sure you get there. I'll make sure your song and look good and da-da-da-da. Everything else, I leave in their hands. So the management thing, it's something that I've always done. And I'm proud of what I have accomplished in the band. As much as I don't like to get praise, and I think it's all about the band and not about me, but because of my connections in the KOS, Kingdom of Soca, I had the opportunity to take the band to different places. Bermuda was one of those elements. You know what I mean? We have a gentleman in the band by the name of Paul. You know, his brother Vernon, they were very instrumental, and they always wanted that kind of element. So that came through a KOS vibes. Our biggest trip to date is Africa. You know what I mean? And once again, my connections with KOS brought that trip to Africa. You know what I mean? So
Nice,
I think,
nice.
yeah, I think some of the things that we've accomplished while I've been managing the band has been really great. I as well say it's time for me to even pass it on. I think the whole elders should just sit back and let we get the youths back and let the youth start to do things. You know what I mean? So
So,
if it's
so you're saying
everybody,
to break that, so they're saying to break that second placement for the past 8 years and third placement and thing.
I'm not really saying that. I'm saying it's just time. You know what I mean?
It's time. It's
Everything
time.
has a time. You know what I mean? And as we could tell, the panorama has changed, even in Trinidad. You know what I mean? The older heads' style is different than the youths of today. You know what I mean? So the styles are different. You know what I mean? So we have to gravitate to the things that are more fresh and more new. You know what I mean? So yes, we respect where everything has come from. You know, we're not taking any of that away, but everything must change. You know what I mean? You change your car, you change your shoes, you change your tire. Everything has to change within time. You know what I mean? So I am very open to that, even for me. You know what I mean? I could change too. You know what I mean? I find there's a lot of young individuals in the band right now who could probably do a better job now because it's time. You know what I mean? So
Breads, what I gonna tell you? What I gonna tell you? I can't. I could tell you because I come on a visit and I see, right? And it have
Duvon,
things
hold on.
to
Duvon gang.
change.
You see Duvon in the group too?
The man
I mean, how
Yeah, the one in the chat.
I leave him to party at Flair to go, and he got pan alive. Yeah, that what telling you.
Every Friday, me and Earl is at Flair before Pan Alive.
Yeah, but you know what?
Right.
Let me touch on that one quick second. You see, pan alive for me, honestly, I appreciate what has happened over the years when I was taking part. You know what I mean? Because every person who's played pan always wants that element. You know what I mean? Whether it's the panorama element or but for me personally, I think that the Pan Alive competition here in Toronto really need to wake up. You know what I mean? Because I even expressed it this Friday to one of Pan Fantasy's players that, listen, if Afropan was at this home up in that community where they are at Shepherd and Keel, and Pan Fantasy was where Afropan is on Jefferson Avenue, I was not, as manager of Afropan, and I said it clearly in an Afropan meeting as well, I was not coming to Pan Alive. The amount of money that I take to get the band on the road is not even worth that element of Pan Alive. You know what I mean? Pan Alive is a gig. That's how I feel. Pan Alive is a gig. Take a small stateside and go Pan Alive. That's how I feel. Because we're not getting what we rightfully deserve. And it's time for us to actually wake up and see that, listen, we need to change. And it's changed in Trinidad. You know what I mean? Look at the prize monies and that sort of thing now. The current president is doing a lot of innovative things to, you know, change how it was before. And like I said, change is good at times, you know what I mean? Once it's done in the right way. So I think we have to wake up and we have to, because, oh gosh, you telling me the first place prize in Toronto is what? Even if it's 2,500, that's what it is? Really? Nah, come on.
Yeah, man, the appearance fee.
That is an appearance
25
fee.
My time.
You know?
It's appearance fee.
So
But that's the true thing Earl saying it too, like Noel too, because like for me, it's been what, but only when Granny had passed, that was probably the only time I did it. But before that too, like 2008, 9, 10, I probably dropped out of playing Pan Alive, and that was that. You know, and it's just how it is. It's just how we take it now, and we see it for what it is something that none of all of us inside of who partake in pan and we're gaining. We're not gaining anything from that, and it's not improving the foundation of pan. It's not creating growth either or development. You know what the development starting and creating from each and everybody that taking upon themselves to do something inside of their own home base, like Fantasy, Afropan, and Fanatics and Silhouettes. Everybody taking upon themselves to take all the brunt of the expenses to host classes through all the winter and things to keep pan alive and keep people interested. And pan alive in doing that. You know,
but,
so
and that's what I think is more important.
So,
like I'd rather take that money.
Did not get my time until I see change either. I would never play in a pan alive again, and I will continue to stay by that. I know as much people want us to want to play and showcase and thing, and they would like to see us there. It's bigger than that for people like Earl and me and a lot of other individuals who watch it for it is now. And so I totally feel in that.
When this is for a trophy and bragging rights.
But
true.
listen, Noel.
And it's for the people.
Think
It's for the
about
kids.
it.
You know, it's for the people who have the experience of not going to Trinidad and things.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. That's good.
And that's what we live it for.
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
we make to Afropan and have to
Mark
be.
Musker saying we ended up losing money. Mark Musker complaining about losing money.
But that's what it. Imagine if we took that same money that we raise every year, and like I tell people openly, it's about $25,000 just to get us on the road. That's pants, tuned, painted, shirts, the minimum of that. You know what I mean? For a big band like myself and Afropan and Pan Fantasy and the bigger bands, that's minimum. You know, that's what we need to start up. You know what I mean? Imagine if we took that same $25,000 every year that we raise and put it towards a building, or put it towards a place that we could call home. Like, we don't have a home. We don't practice no more in the winter. You know what I mean? And it's sad that we work so hard to put together this music for it to wash away at the end of the year. You know what I mean? If I ask any of my players to play that song from last year, I bet probably 2 people could probably do it. You know what I mean? But not everybody else, because we're not practicing. Look, a band like Afropan has not been in Snowflakes for the last 2 years. Sad. We started this. You know what I mean? And it's not that we don't want to, but we really can't. You know what I mean? We really can't, because we don't. Back in the day, people were generous enough to say, all right, all you hold this space and do whatever you had to do, you know. But right now in Toronto and Canada, almost every band is suffering from that, not having a pan yard. And because it's winter here, we can't just go out and practice outside in the snow. You know what I mean? So it's hard. And that's what frustrates me the most, is that same money that we are wasting to do Caravana, to go on the... And you know what? I much rather just do Caravana, to be honest, because the people who come to the Panyard, to the Blocko, to buy these shirts. And when I tell you, we sell a hell of a lot of shirts. We have a lot of support. You know what I mean? These come like collector's items. People who have an Afropan shirt, keep it, because we make sure the quality is good. Look how many years ago this is, and this still look brand new. You know what I mean? Like, I would do the road all the time. I would rather do the road than Pan Alive, because I know that's where our people is.
Experience, man, and that's the only reason why we continue to do it too. Because a lot of people get that experience.
So what Pan Alive need? They need some money or something. They need what? The source sponsorships.
Rouse is in the chat right now. He's saying that he has suggestions. So I think this is a definitely good suggestion. And
put the comments there. You know what Pan Alive needs? And to be honest, we need to start focusing and doing things as a business. As soon as Pan Alive was finished on that Friday, that Saturday, work starts for the following year. And what that work entails is sourcing sponsorships, sourcing money, funding, and doing other things. Because if we wait to the 99th hour to say, oh, we should have, we could have got this grant, we could have, because there's money out there that they could possibly get.
So,
it's just having the
Pan
right
Alive
people.
has accessories selling. Pan Alive has accessories of the bands, the music, anything selling. They have a store, Pan Alive, or outlet?
No.
But what Pan Alive could be doing if they don't have none of those things, right? I mean, not saying for the new people that are in now, obviously new people in now and whatever, but I'm saying as a general thing, what they should be doing, like Earl said, as the next day done, Sunday, Monday, they should start working for next year. And that shouldn't just include funding and financial.
But all successful organizations does that. All jazz festivals, they start as soon as it closes off, it starts. Right.
But you see those jazz festivals and things, what Pan Life should be doing and taking in account too as well is for people and bands and other people who are struggling in the industry and the art form, they should also be putting out words because they're non-profit organization, they should be putting out notices and reaching out to all the links that they have to find spaces for these bands to be placing to and helping out these bands with their development and encourage them to want to stay alive and help them to want to stay alive, hear their cries, hear their situations, and go out there and find it, because if the organization who planning pan or doing anything to do with pan like that have right there with government and they're not bringing these issues to government never gonna know our stories and we gonna always suffer, you know. And honestly, we like I say, if it wasn't for people like Earl and Wendy and like Mark and them taking upon themselves to brunt the whole personal cost for what they love, the band that they love and the organization that they love, none of this won't be alive. You know, alive by pan alive, and we have to wait for pan alive to keep it alive. It'll dead just as quick as it starts. So. And yeah,
hey, you know something?
Rouse has some good points. Big up yourself, Rouse. For real.
Yeah, Andre.
Let's do a little intermission here. We chatting for an hour now, you know.
Yeah.
Right? And
We'll
we
talk
said,
real things.
yes,
Talk real
and it gone so easy and nice, and it's still a lot of information out there. Like we had to have a part two. People, we on the a la carte, pan a la carte, with yours truly, Noel La Pierre, Earl La Pierre Jr., Olujimi La Pierre. Right? We just having a chat, you know, with brothers. Yes, we're doing the same thing, the pan thing. We all started different. We all had different people who well supported us, minus take care of us. All right. No fault of ours, but we say thanks to each and every one of them for playing the part they have played. Right? Else we wouldn't be who we are, because I tell people personally, I grew up in a panyard. Right? Breadfruit. It was nothing for me to eat breadfruit and salt butter with cricks on a Sunday in the panyard.
It's good food, man.
And it was nothing for me to go in the panyard during the week. Granny would tell the teacher, well, one time it happened. She said, well, I'm get up with measles, you know. And the vice principal passed and see me painting a rack on Tragedy Road on the pavement. To the
on the main road, yes.
On the main road, not the mini yard, on the main road. Right? So,
You get catch.
Certain sacrifice was made, right, back then when the odds wasn't like how it favor it now, right? Because nobody would believe you want to take pan to be a career. Because when I made that step, people say I'm a madman. Even when Bermuda and come back, all kind of thing, man, still vex, you leave your guardian work, boy, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I take the chance. I have no pension and no insurance and thing benefits to get, right? It's God blessing, keeping me going for all these years. And it has to be something good I'm doing to be still doing it till today. Because 1975 to now present, you know, I have plenty history, plenty experiences, played on cruise ships with Delaris, touched by an angel. Is one of the most touching experiences that I ever experienced in my professional career, right? You know, and played with all different Grammy Award artists, all Gary Pocket and all Joey D. These are peppermint, with this peppermint twist people, do the rock and roll people, right? Back in the days, Mama and Papa, right? So sacrifices we make, it just goes by. People just don't recognize it. Like they watch you, like if you know, they feel everything is a birthday cake to blow the candle, right? And when you travel, you come back home like Santa Claus, right? But there's more than that. It's more than that. I look at it, have business, Earl have business, the Afropan, that whole experience. Didn't ask for the job, didn't nominate himself for the job. Right? The job was placed on him because he's Earl La Pierre's son.
Because
that has plenty bad, just as it has plenty good in it. Right? Now it's who is going to balance the scale. Earl La Pierre had to know how to balance the scale. So Earl La Pierre ain't going to be calling negative fear, he might be calling positive fear. This one will be calling him to do this here. Right? He had to be running here, running there. That is plenty pressure on one's mind, body to run a band, right? I had that experience with Phase 2 to win the first Panorama. When I say end up with an ulcer, I really had an ulcer because I'm not even getting time to eat. And I'm sure Jimmy went through that in Cayman with all the school festivals and all the bands you had to organize, right? So it has a lot of stress mentally and physically on one's body. Right? And then to come and perform, you're asking the same body who was just under so much mental stress to organize people and everything else. who was just lifting up pan and lifting up rack and pushing and pulling, who was just doing this, who had was just drive like a madman to get to so and so to come back in time, right, to go and perform. And then when you finish that now, all they could do is get a little trophy and bragging rights, you know. That's not fair.
Not fair at all.
That's not fair.
At all.
That is not fair.
Yeah, I
You know,
agree.
so maybe gotta find a millionaire to get involved in Pan Alive and rebrand it or something.
Or
I
the
sup-
PAN just take over and just run the show. You understand? Pan Arts Network in the house, they just start to take over the thing and we start something new and fresh. That's it. Case
Well, that's
closed.
something interesting. That's something
Case
interesting.
closed.
The one time we suggested one thing, they say we trying to coup.
Don't worry.
That was a while ago, but honestly, you know what? And it's not only myself and Wendy who could do it. Like, obviously, they have seen our track record. You know what I mean? Like, our shows stand up on a whole. You know what I mean? Whether it's the Snowflakes, whether it's Autumn Leaves, which Autumn Leaves never got the real pull, which is funny because for me, growing up, I always used to love hearing the soloist songs, the pan assembly songs, where you would hear the Boogsies, the Earl Brooks, and all the featured artists. And the sweetest part of the tune would be always on the feed out. So I'd be tuning up the volume to hear the last bit of that solo at the feed out. You know what I mean? But when I approached my band members as to why they don't really like to support, let's say, the Autumn Leaves, which is more the soloist show, they were like, they prefer the band element. I go, but this is something that you could aspire to be, one of these soloists. So I understood their point of view, but like for us, we'd quicker go to them shows, right? We do a gospel show, gospel praise, and gospel praise, believe you me, is just as big as Snowflakes, probably even bigger now. You know what I mean? So our track record is there. Like, we make suggestions, and I think this is where my frustration always lies when it comes to the Ontario Steel Band Association. You know, I'm not knocking anybody, but it's like we make suggestions, they listen, but they don't really do anything or implement it. And then 3 years down the line, they want to try to implement it, and then they frustrate you and they don't do it. And then our next president wants to do something. You know, it just gets a little frustrating because every time I go to them meetings, I tell them, I feel like I was here 5 years ago. This is the same thing that I said 5 years ago, and we didn't do it then. So what's going to change now? You know what I mean? So I think really and truly, we really need to start sending, let's say, a fresh new batch of people who are not so highly, let's say, invested in, let's say, your band. You know what I mean? So it doesn't necessarily need to be that pan man who's been there 20 years who have their own opinion on da-da-da-da, but you need somebody there who has some fresh ideas, who could actually do things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
you
you
always
also
have
have to-
individuals in your band who could do something, whether it's computer, whether it's design, whether it's artwork. You know what I mean? Send those people to the meetings and let's actually do some things.
Let me ask you this: how come it is only in the pan fraternity? It don't have to be a pan person. When I watch the NBA, I can't see nobody else inside it. Only people who are involved in basketball. When I watch the NFL, there's only people who is involved in NFL, in football. There. When I watch
Not
the
everybody,
NHL,
though,
all the
no.
profession.
Not
The
everybody.
person who else there, that means they qualify in some specialty, right?
But the owners and the this and the that, all of them are not NFL players or basketball players, and some of the analysts are not
but they have more than
basketball or
one year
football.
experience.
But
They
I
have more
get
than 1 year
that.
experience in
That
right.
is not
So
the case in PAN, to be honest. You have people who could support PAN.
No, it
You
have
people who could
educated
support
people
PAN.
in PAN.
But have anyone?
It have people who have knowledge and experience in the PAN community, you know, but they're not getting the opportunity.
But this is the
Right?
thing, which is
You
what I'm
know,
saying.
because being misrepresented regardless is not a good thing. I don't want nobody talk from me not understanding what it is I feel or what I want to be expressed. You know,
I know.
that's
You know
why
what?
I
It's
have a
not.
problem.
No, it's not that. It's just a lot of the times, Noel, what happens, and this is something that I have seen time in and time out, just in my experience in, let's say, Afropan and in USA, is that okay? We have some elder heads there who are so stuck in their ways
They
that they're
might
not.
go.
I was just gonna
And you
say,
see, that's what you're saying. But this is what I'm trying to show you, that sometimes that person who may not have played a pan, but has been around pan so much years that they understand what could change and how things could go. You're not listening to that person because they never pick up a stick. That is some of the older or the elder heads
and that's
mentality.
where the
Well,
balance.
you never
should
play a
come
pan before, so you shouldn't. So that
Yeah.
takes that person now. You know what happens to that person? They say, all right, cool, and then they leave.
in.
You
Yeah.
understand?
And it
Just
needs a
because
balance. It needs a balance of people who in the field and who not in the field too.
we
And
had to take
I-
that element out. It's not about if they played or da, da, da. Like sometimes they might have a skill set that you may not even know, and they might be that millionaire person who wanted to help us. Who knows? You know what I mean? So we got to give people the benefit of the doubt, man. Because you know what? We all sacrifice. You know the biggest thing that we just sacrifice? Our time. You can't pay me for my time. You know what I mean? You really can't. So you see, a person who coming down the street with his pants still pressed in hard shoes, still have his collar button up. Where he coming from? Straight from a 9 to 5 job to come and go in the pan yard to practice music until wee hours in the morning. And sometimes he may want to leave a little early, and you cannot get vexed with that man because he's sacrificing something. So you got to appreciate them people. You know what I mean? So we have to start to learn to appreciate each other as human beings, and I think this
especially
COVID
for
time,
something like a competition that is
yeah, man, this COVID here has opened up my eyes. Like I made a reset. You know what I mean? I'm trying my hardest to give everybody that benefit of the doubt, give everybody a second win, a second chance. You know what I mean? Like life is too short and precious. You know what I mean? So for me, really and truly, for me to grow more, I want good people and solids, no negative vibes around me, man. I just want positive.
Duvon
vibes
has some good
around me.
points too, man. You facts they Duvon for real. Facts.
Yeah, you
Competition
say
is-
here,
competition is the biggest
stakeholder.
killer.
Yes, I stakeholders.
I totally agree. I
Yes.
totally agree. Competition, I find against Caribbean people should be
And
united.
I find, I hear what I find in Canada there, whoever is OSA or the people in OSA, all right, you're all not being fair in the sense that all they accommodating these people for so long is the same people there and thing. And they continue to just gain the pan opportunity, the bottom of the empire. Pan don't get nothing, right? Mass banders get.
But
And they
that's a
just charge people to play in
problem.
the
But
band.
Noel, that is it on the head right there. Like you say, look.
Yeah,
So,
that's
look at Caravana Day, right? Caravana Day, me and Wendy looked at this too. When we walk down the street, we see a headpiece here. We see a standard day. We see a brought up day. Mask getting fling on the ground. You ever walk down the road and see a pan just sitting on the ground? You might find a stick that break, and them getting more money.
drumstick.
They getting more money than Pan Man. When they just sell them things, we don't sell our pans to the players. You know what I mean? They just sell their things. You know what I mean? My biggest thing is, and I've made this known publicly as well, that listen, I understand there's seed money, I understand there's startup money. You understand? But in our steel band category, it should be categorized as well. You know what I mean? There should be A band, a B band, or a C band. Because why? They have some bands that are 24 players. There's some bands that are 80 players. There are bands that are, so those are the kind of categories. You can't tell me a band that has 24 players has the same kind of expense as Afropan or the big band, Pan Fantasy. You can't have the same expenses as that band. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to take away anything from you. So if the money used to be $12,000, you know what it is now? Our seed money, it gone down to 8,000. Then it went down to 6,000. We money getting smaller every single time. Why is that? Nobody could answer the question. You know what I mean? And that's our startup money. You know what I mean? To me, that money, the 12,000 is a very good start for them small bands. You know what I mean? I find our startup money should be a lot more than that. And I'm not taking away anything from the little bands or anything. The startup should have started there. That should have been the C startup. But the A startup is this. That's what I was trying to show everybody, that
A,
the
B, and
money,
C.
yeah, you know what I mean? And you could see what a A band is. You could see what a B band is. You could see what a C band is, just the same way they have
Different
small,
tiers.
medium, and large. You know what I mean?
Have
Not
different
to say
tiers.
that any bands here, well, Fantasy is the closest thing that we could come to a large, but they're medium band when it comes to Trinidad. You know what I mean? So we could have small and medium, whether that is the two categories here in Toronto. You know what I mean? And you could deviate up that way. But it's hard to keep expressing these things over and over and seeing the money dwindling and people not understanding the mass man fighting the Calypsonians fighting the pan man, and this kind of battle. I'm not trying to take away anything from anybody. I'm just trying to show you that in all hindsight, pan deserves more money because of these reasons. You're not going to see a pan stick on the road. You're not going to see a rack that's sitting there. You know what I mean? We don't sell it like that. The most we may ask is a membership fee. If you want to join the band, we're going to get a membership fee. It's going to be $25. That's our membership fee, $25, which entitles you to T-shirts, which could be 2 T-shirts, a Pan Alive and a road T-shirt, plus food and drinks on the road.
And it's crazy. It is crazy you say like that too, Earl. Even like if you had to do a membership for mass. When you pay a membership for mass, you buy the whole costume for almost $300-$500.
You understand? What's the difference? You know what I mean? And this is what we just be providing every year without fail, man. So that's what my frustrations are. You know what I mean? I get it. I want the kids to go through their experience and get the, what I've experienced before. But for me personally, I will put all in there, but don't expect me to be a part of something like that, because I'm not feeling it anymore like that. But I would love for it to get to a level that I could actually feel like, you know what, we going and play again. You know what I mean? Because I think we've only did that once. All of us. Me, Noel, Jimmy, Ziza.
Ziza? Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? All of us. Only probably did that once. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
True.
Right?
Yeah. True.
And that was how long ago? That was Fantasy as 8. It was probably 9 years ago. Right, Wendy? It was 9 years ago. So that is the thing.
Man, coming back to Afropan now, right, and going forward. That is the only time it going to happen there again, Jimmy got to be the musical arranger, right? And Senior had to be the advice director or something. Right, because we had to have some new channel of energy coming into and
listen to what my thoughts are, because if we ever get this Pan Alive to the level that it's going to be at, I would honestly still say that Senior has an important role as musical director, right? Like the competition song, I feel that's Jimmy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now we have brought back what we used to call the Pan people back in the day, and I want to know how the Pan people feel about this, because as far as I know it, it's always been a bomb. But because of the fact that it's called bomb, we can't use that no more. Why is that? But Earl, that's his forte. That is his. You can't beat him in that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So I would leave him with that, but open up the arranger or the Pan Alive or the competition song. Let Jimmy handle that. Let Earl do the bomb. Everybody's happy. You know what I mean? So, but
man, Senior has a whole team. He's the only owner of another thing. He is the only arranger other than Booksy Sharp owns a steel band. Right? So that's history for him. Right? Okay. But he has all the teams, he has all the tools. He has management tool, assistant tool, arranging tool. He have all the tools that anybody would want to have in their disposal to interview him. Right?
Who's we? You.
Don't say no we thing. You.
This is Pan a la Carte, Noel La Pierre, players only.
Earl Senior La Pierre, whatever. You going to do.
This is Pan a la Carte, Noel La Pierre.
Early Southern man looking hell, but we.
I would produce it. Yeah. I'm producing it.
Look, I see Earl, I see me. I see Noel. This Pan a la Carte, Noel by presented by Noel La Pierre. Yeah, man. Noel La Pierre, not this one.
Oh gosh.
I feel that show gonna be the season finale for season 1. Season 1 finale. We're gonna try to have a big interview, big discussion.
So how many episodes in a season? Because right now we're at 16. 20?
I agree. Go to 20 and then bun. Yeah.
You see, he started because he know that he's only 4 away. All right, so all right.
Yeah, he did.
4.
Yes.
Yeah, because we have some nice people line up. We have Chantel line up. We have Leeson line up. People
Headley.
who would like to.
So there you go, Chantel, Neeson, Headley, La Pierre. Season done. come back in September, end of September, new season. And I think by
So
then,
far, boy, and that's it. I know getting to like this thing, boy.
well, everything
understand?
has every show has a a season finale. You know what I mean? So we come back new season.
Yeah, but
Man.
when you finish the season, the next week you start the next season. Is the week after, right?
We give him a little 2 weeks.
All right. Look at Wendy jumping. Season finale. Yes.
Wendy, that gonna be special.
That ain't gonna be no 1 hour. That gonna be a 2 hour thing there.
Yeah. Well,
Right?
See
Because-
Robbie in the mix too. Hey, Robbie, what you saying, brother?
Yeah, everybody who in the mix. Wendy, Jason, Kenneth,
that's
Passad.
Andre boy.
You understand? Yeah, man. Duvon, my brother, what you saying? Yeah? And you, boy, we call Duvon, boy, and Duvon, so you see, it can't end on 20, boy, because Duvon had to come in the thing, boy.
I
He
agree.
could be the
Duvon.
first. He could be the first of season 2.
Well, he next. Well, true.
You know, you do your thing, man. Whatever you say, you use the boss is your show. I just
Alright.
produce
No
it.
senior is number 20. That's all.
Right, the Gazon inside, Mark Muska, what you saying?
Big up Mark.
Yeah, man.
Big up Mark. Mark, good job on the panel live too, boy. That was sweet.
Yeah, man. The panel live performance was nice.
I know one thing you should
Yeah.
be playing more often on live. I know one thing you see Earl reaching out to you to jump on the.
No, but I surprised who
surprised.
gave them track? We get them track from.
Man, call the week looking for Mark. Can't find Mark to play nowhere. I got Earl getting.
Hey, how come he jump on that track? I thought he was coming with a little combo.
Nah. You don't get you know when Mark when Mark start, he start, you know. Don't tie him up now, you know. You know when Mark start, he start. But yeah, man, Mark, that's up yourself, Mark. That was a good job on Friday, man. Bless up everybody actually too, man. That whole day was nice, man. I like how it was. Kenneth was amazing as well too. The young girl, the youngest Spanish Trini, she was nice. Everybody was nice, man. Everybody was good that day, man. That was a good show, Earl. Congrats on that as
Yeah,
well.
man. So people,
Appreciate it.
This was a special panel at the Carte. You know, our 16th episode. You know, just vibes up the place with this live. All right? You know?
Mark said my Earl insist tracks. Yeah, but
Right? But we really like this vibe. We're glad that you all join us and enjoying it. Look at Mark saying the big man Earl insists tracks.
Yeah, boy.
Tracks. You understand? The big man say tracks. Right? But it's nice to see the people we have this relationship with and is supporting us. All right? This is yours truly, Noel, Jimmy, and Earl is on a line here there with me, sharing reviews and growing up and some of the experiences. And even season 2, you will get the part 2 of this
yeah, man. We
some
can't
vibe.
finish. This had to continue. We have too much. We have
Right, because-
we whole life be talking about here now, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, man. All right. So look out for it in season 2. But I'll keep you all posted. All right. When this season finale will take place. All right. But it's very nice. It's very interesting. Honestly, fellas, I really didn't. I know this would have been interesting, but I really surprised the feedback from it and the interest shown. Right? You know, and looking forward for the continuation. We always think about this, but this a la carte thing, players only. It real players, you know. It had real players with information, you know.
Yeah,
And
boy.
everybody has a story, you know. And you know what? And we had to more or less convince your last one, Edwin. You know what I mean? When we called him, he was like, "Boy, I just stay in the background. You know, nobody. I don't have nothing to say. I have nothing to talk about." But it's like, you know what, Edwin? You're sitting down and just having a discussion of your experiences that you've been through.
Honestly, I'm
Everybody
so
has an
glad that you guys
experience.
convinced him to be on that one.
Yeah, man. And
He's
honestly,
like-
look at the viewership that he has.
The
because-
viewership, sometime last
Yo.
week he was 1700 speeding.
Yo,
You understand?
That's a special soul, man, that knows a lot, everything to that, and grow and in the journey too. And in the,
yeah. He has
In
a
it-
story.
in it.
You know what I mean? And just his players alone were like, you have Edwin? Like and you know what I mean? Everybody knows Edwin. You know what I mean? Edwin is one of those players, like you say. He's been around for years. He's actually one of the heads on the faces of Afropan, an original Afropan member. And he's been around and a solid brother. You know what I mean? Everybody likes him. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody out there has anything bad to say about it. Don't get him mad, you know. You'll hear his mouth, but trust me, he's one of them kind of people. And me and him talk all the time because he's like me. If you're not gonna do it, I gonna do it. He'll get it done. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
that's the kind
facts.
of person he is. And you always have them kind of people in your band. You know what I mean? And just to hear his story, the stuff that he talked about, because one of the biggest things that I caught from that interview was just how Afropan was named. I was like, what? I jumped. You know what I mean? And I meant to ask Adisa that question too. I was gonna ask him that. I jumped. You know what I mean?
I didn't really know that like that. I
didn't
know
know that either.
how the names was transcribed from like when
No.
Uncle Leslie.
What I
explained
know,
it.
the name he called, I know she was playing bass. You understand? In the band, that's all I know. I didn't know that.
Yeah, for real.
Which
That's
is cool, man. And you know what? And I think those stories, especially for us, then, you know what I mean? They fascinate us because we know about Afropan, but we don't know everything, you know what I mean? So
Everything,
hearing
yeah.
some of them stories and hearing about the younger days and the things that they did and that sort of thing is a great story, you know what I mean? And I think a lot of people would like that. And I've sat back and I have to sit back and listen to most of the interviews that Noel does because I'm in the background producing the show or whatnot, and they have been good. You know what I mean? They have been good. Everybody I've taken something from is like, damn, I didn't know that. And you know what? It's a very good sit down. He's talked about this. I think Noel had this idea about 2, maybe even 3 years now, that he asked me about it, and I said, yeah, it's a good idea, man. And you know what? Thankfully, again, COVID came and right time. You know what I mean? And like we said, we're 16 shows in now. So commending you, Noel, for, consistency is always the key to these things, you know what I mean? And that's what people have been talking, especially to us about, that we've been consistent, you know what I mean? We've been here every Friday, every Sunday, Noel every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you know what I mean? And it's not easy, you know what I mean? Because now that things are opening up again, it's getting a little bit more difficult, you know what I mean? So hopefully we could stay consistent with it. Even if it's a matter of us trying to get together at an hour and pre-record a show or whatever. There's been times that I say, I might have to run out, or Jimmy say, you could be a little late and you'll come in, these kind of things that are going to happen. You know what I mean? Even for me, Friday, I've even picked up Hannes yet for Friday because of the mere fact that I'm not sure if I'm going back to Island Mix this Friday or not, you know what I mean? And I want to make sure that if I'm doing it from Island Mix that I could get everything broadcast on the big screen, the internet's working up to speed. So this Friday right now, it's just open, you know what I mean? So I don't know what I'll do yet if I'm going there. I'll probably know a little bit later today if I'm going back. But after Friday's show, I think that could have been my season finale too, you know what I mean? Because that show there alone, wow, like I must thank everybody again. It's blowing up. It blew up. It's almost 6,000 views on Facebook, almost close to 2,000 views on YouTube. So I thank you guys. If you haven't seen it, please go and check it out. Tunesville, Panel Live Edition. And thank you to the panelists who, committed and did their thing, man. Like they really put Canada, I'm saying Canada on the map because we had some greats from the Andre Whites.
Only from the north. Only from the north.
Yeah, man, we did not. So everybody who's seen and heard some good panelists, and like you guys said, we had a stellar cast, you know what I mean? So I appreciate everyone who did their thing,
Yeah, man. So Jimmy,
Yes,
right,
sir.
before we close off this, because you know what is going on here? We're on an hour and a half going, and
Yeah,
we're
man,
doing
yeah,
good.
man. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
good
yeah.
Yeah,
energy.
man, cool.
What good energy does.
Right. So what is your plans until for the rest of the week?
Well, right now things in Cayman is looking good. Like I said, we COVID-19 free right now for a bit. I think like 20 days straight now. So places are taking their time to open back up locally to try to boost the local economy back up, and then and then that's gonna go down to where they might consider opening the borders for certain restrictions to travelers. Not open free for all thing, but if you're eligible, you have to sign up and then get approved and all these things. So if things open up, gigs coming up again. Planning my events on the soca scene down here in Carnival scene too. We got some stuff that I'm trying to do. So able to do some stuff. Just to catch back up since we couldn't do Carnival, we were able to do some events for kind of more reunion kind of vibes, concepts. Doing a lot more live again this week coming. So we're just trying to stay consistent. Like I said, this is the most music I've been playing ever since I was a little boy when I used to get cussed about practicing. This is probably the most.
Yeah, you never like to practice. You never like to practice.
Never like to practice. Especially as I listen to senior coming in my head and be like, they're practicing. Listen to that, listen to that all day.
I used to ask your father, so Jimmy don't practice or what? He doesn't tell. But that boy had me. I said, that boy had me. That's just
That's
he
all
had
he
me.
did. Think about it, right? I just practice when he not there, just for spite. So when he there, he think I'm not practicing. I just practice when he not there, because when he not there, you have a peace of mind. You have a peace of mind. And nobody not breathe on you, thing and thing and thing. All you know how that is growing up. You know, when you're young and nobody, you don't want to listen to nobody. Breathe on your neck. You know, so.
But you know what too, Jimmy? You see how you hit that on the head there? I noticed that one time with Aria, right, where she started to play in Snowflakes, and there was one song that she was getting problems with, and Snowflakes was the next night. So I told her, well, come in, not the next night. I think it was a Thursday we had practice. Friday we didn't have practice, or something like that. So I say, well, come, let me help you with that. Nah, I don't. No. I say, well, how you expect to learn it? So I got upset with her. You know what I mean? I got upset with her. So I think being like a father and not having a child practices, I could see him being that kind of ways, like, that kind of thing. And that's how I was. That's how and you know what happened? The next day or the day when we got to Snowflakes, we was practicing in the back, and this child played it. And I was like, where you learn that from? She said, I did it myself. And that's when I got my reality check with Aria, because I was like, what do you mean you got it yourself? She goes, well, I just figured it out. I said, so you heard it and you played it by yourself? Yes. I was like, and I had to be a big person and say, Aria, I apologize, because I didn't know that you could actually hear music like how your grandfather, your uncles, and I do. I didn't know you had that, you know what I mean? And I had to just let her do her own thing, because it's like with me, you know what I mean? I don't like to practice neither, but I prefer to practice by myself, you know what I mean? With nobody here, you know what I mean? And that's how I practice as well, and I think we all do that. I think the only one who really does
not
practice
me. Granny
is
was
Noel.
my audience, but
Noel is the only one that's practiced, and we all, even up to Earl Sr. when he was in Trinidad, he said, boy, Noel is practice hard, boy. I must practice hard, boy. You know, when he voice get high, I must practice real hard, boy. And it's true, Noel would be practicing for at least 6 hours, boy. Yeah, real practice, you know what I mean? Like, boy, full out.
My skin, you see, he used to call senior just to ask the man if he practiced it, and man would just activate. Yeah. He didn't practice it. Just you just outside reading, cooking us outside. You come exactly know. I tell you, he just asks you if I practicing all of a sudden. You best he ask if I practicing.
Yeah, man.
Yes. But that's it. In Trinidad, you grew up with them by them. You had to practice. But you can't wait to come in the yard to practice. So you had to practice home. So I used to carry my pan from small.
Wendy.
I used to carry my pan.
True, right? True.
Yeah, but and that's what Jimmy said earlier. The point that he was making is like, the way you grew up is the standard back then, right? Is so much different than now. So your regiment is so different from ours. So you so accustomed to either whether it's, okay, section practice. Hey, what's that? You play that by yourself from top to bottom. I've never experienced that in any band that I've in. Even when I went to play with Phase 2, maybe a section practice or a section thing, but I've never experienced it on the level to what you. So that regimen that you got, we have never experienced. We've heard about it, because I'm sure Jimmy heard about it too, but I have never in my life, even down to Afropan, we try, you know what I mean? But it never really gets to that level, you know what I mean? Because calling somebody out and then we don't have enough players to say we could drop a man then, you know what I mean? That mentality. So you have that, if you can't play, then you can't play. You know, it's like, nah, well, you go play, just don't play that part. You know what I mean?
And it shows you how to appreciate people's time and efforts.
Yeah, so
it's the level of learning abilities to the Pantus. And then, you know, all that changes. That whole perception, that whole perspective, everything.
Yeah, all that man, it's so different. But like Jimmy said, because of COVID now, for me, I've been finding myself at least practicing every week because there's so much music that we have played, and our repertoire this 2020 is massive, because it's not the same things. Like when I go Island Mix, I have a set thing that I have a list already. Okay, I didn't play this week, I'll play it next week. You know, I don't want to play the same things over and over. And I think that's why Tunesville has been so successful for me, is that I bring in somebody to help me with that music, and you get to hear different panels play. You know what I mean? So that has been good for me as well. So my repertoire now, especially because of Tunesville and the Sunday show, is so massive right now, because I've learned so much tunes. Right. Seeking music, like me, Duvon, Keyshawn. We've got a program that we put on our computer just to get music, you know what I mean? And all the kind of things we're doing just to better ourselves with getting music and finding music, you know what I mean? Like we've been sharing, like the brothers that I brought on the show, fantastic guys, man. And
Man.
I appreciate them so much that you'd swear we know each other for years the way we communicate, you know what I mean? So everybody who's been on Tunesville, I bless you up, you know what I mean? Thank you very much, and we'll continue to be brothers, you know what I mean? Steel Pan brothers, and I look forward to actually bunksing with you in Lyman, drinking a stag or something, you know what I mean? So COVID has been good for me personally.
For that
Yes.
department, I cannot knock COVID because
Yeah.
I touching some songs. Right, it's about 16 to 20 songs on each Tuesday and Thursday.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
so you multiply
And you know what,
that
Noel? We
by
watching you
16.
and you enjoying yourself, man. You know what I mean? We watching you and you're enjoying yourself. You know what I mean? And that
I
I
mean,
think that's what I like seeing. You know what I mean?
and some of them volumes, them repertoire, like the one I just played there Tuesday. I enjoy that set so much with the soft rock.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, right? You know, is you have one or two, but when you put it together, you do a whole set, a genre of music that you don't play regular. It's not your style, but you just feel it.
Yeah, man.
Yes, so we have music. We could do sets, genre sets. That's a new introduction. A set of rock, a set of soca,
Yeah,
a
man.
set of this, set of reggae, a
Yeah,
set of.
definitely.
We can do
Definitely.
it so if we and choose like and someone asks, you want that again? Right? I say yeah. I say it's consistent.
Facts.
It's the name of the game, and if you want to be an entertainer, you have to learn to entertain, right? 7 days a
Facts.
week. An entertainer don't say, "Well, I ain't feeling to entertain today." An entertainer entertains. That is your work, right? So nobody paying the money or nobody coming on a line to hear, well, I ain't feel to play today, so I go play this song. So no, you entertain and you put your best foot forward
Show
every
must go
time.
on.
Yeah,
The
man.
show must go on, and every performance must be better than your last performance. That is the only
Always.
way you will up your game, right? So you can't play good today, and 2 days later, you have to up your game. You have to
But you
up your
never know
game.
who's watching. You never know
You
who's
never
watching.
That's it.
know. You never know,
Yeah.
Never
right?
know who watching.
So,
Never
so,
know.
so,
This
so
link could get sent to whoever, you know what I mean?
You
And
never
I
know.
yeah,
I had to I expressed that to you before, Noel, especially with the virtual thing, you know what I mean? Because this is a new thing that you've been yourself into. I was like, yo, don't even watch how many people is in there right now. Watch over the week. You know what I mean? And that is where you'll get that more fulfillment and
yeah,
joy. Because
yeah,
yeah, we may be here right now. There might be 16 people, 14 people or whatever watching it live right now. Who knows? But when we done this here, and by next week, hopefully we get as much hits as has been. You know what I mean?
yeah, man. I just see some strange hits. Look, I get some new friends. I don't know where they come from. Look, some people from Venezuela, the Maracaibo in Venezuela, wherever. That is them looking nice and healthy for the COVID.
Yeah,
I don't
man.
know the woman. The woman like my thing. You understand? She was on the show. She don't know what. She just enjoying the ampan. So,
Yeah,
But you know
true.
what?
you understand?
Another good thing, and it's hard to say COVID and good things in the same sentence. And I'm gonna be very honest. COVID brought us together because we were going through a spell that we wasn't like this. You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
So COVID
That's
brought
true.
us together and closer because of the Sunday and because of the shows, and I
That's true, man.
appreciate that. You
That's
know
a
what I
fact,
mean?
bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people, you all don't know how difficult it is to keep this relationship amongst ourselves. Not to say we could just drive down the road 45 minutes and visit your brother and visit this one, or and we always wanted to be amongst each other. It took me the first time I spent with my brother, I was already a father.
Yeah.
I was already a father when I lived a brotherly life, right? Earl, Adisa, imagine that. 3 young men, right? 3 young men ramping. That was the first time 3 brothers ramp, right? The first time I put on my brother clothes, the first time my brother put on my clothes was that time. Brothers just grew up wearing one another clothes from small. You
Yeah.
understand? I
True.
only experienced that as an adult, a parent too.
Yeah.
So,
It's true. It's true.
so when people talk about our relationship, it is beyond. It's just beyond. You understand? It's just beyond, and Granny is responsible for that.
Oh yeah.
All right. I want to tell friends of my father, Granny is responsible for that. All
Facts.
right.
True.
You know,
Granny
so
boy, granny.
Any
yeah.
politician passing in,
So
Noel?
politician, yeah, that is Watson Juke Chuck. Let me vote in Watson. Hey, Watson. Hey, he truck passing, but
The election time, yes,
Elections, boy.
elections, boy,
That's
it
yeah.
getting nasty. It getting nasty in Trinidad with this election thing, but
Oh gosh.
yeah, and I ain't want to say nothing, but it have people quoting Trump, Trump behavior, and thing. I ain't like them kind of thing, you know,
What is it? Make
right?
Tobago great?
Yeah,
What is it? What is it? Tell me.
Oh gosh, oh gosh.
The
You
phone
see,
call.
Noel
The phone
cameraman
call.
gone.
Even the
Noel
phone
cameraman
call.
cameraman,
gone.
God, boy.
Yo.
Even the cameraman.
No, but that's a serious thing. That's a serious thing. That's a serious thing.
Yo,
What?
let me stay on point. Let me go, according to Wendy, stay on point. So
Next
we
time,
wrap it up.
next time.
It's
We
almost
wrap
2
it
hours,
up.
you know. We had to wrap up part 2 coming
We
up.
wrap it up. We wrap it up. I was trying to go there since half past, you know, but I don't know. We talk right all about the place, but all that is good. We have part 2 in season 2 coming. All right. As I said, thank you for all who just come on. This is players only pan a la carte. All right. We do it nice. We do it nice. We're gonna wrap up. Don't forget my brother has Tunesville on Friday. Sunday, we have Inspirational Sunday, Sons of Steel, featuring us. Jimmy is all about the place. So, Jimmy, information is on a fly. Boobs, you understand? But most unlikely Cayman Compass have him locked down. The government at Cayman have him locked down. What do you say about that, Jimmy?
Yeah, boy, they've been doing good featuring me for all the platforms that they have, man. So I have to give them thanks and
That's nice.
respect for that too, man. They reach out a lot and make sure people like myself who carry the flag of the Cayman Islands on my back everywhere I go is cool and in order. You know what I mean? So I had to give them the little praise and respect for that too, man. Definitely.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Nice. So, people, I hope you enjoy this chat with the La Pierre brothers. All right, the one evolution, Olujimi, Noel, Earl. All right, evolution. We just nice and happy that you all enjoy this program and we could share some of our life experience in this pan community. Who we are Earl La Pierre son, yes, but we are who we are. Olujimi, Noel, and Earl. All right,
One.
we all have our identity, our styles, our personality, and we love to combine to bring it for you guys to enjoy it. All right, we love what we do, and we're glad that you guys love us too. We're glad for the love and the inspiration. All right. So, brothers, anything else before we go?
I just want to say thank you, bro. Thank you for having me and having Earl on the show, bro. For real, this was nice. This was a good pan on the menu, pan on a la carte. This was nice. This is part 1 of we life. So I know we don't have different parts. We might have about 10 parts by the time we done talk about we self and we life and we father and everything. So this is part 1.
All right. Yeah,
I
man.
agree, and thanks to everybody who tuned in, you know, who will tune in and listen to this far, you know what I mean? It was just basically brothers sitting down and talking about our experience, and I think everybody has a story, you know what I mean? So if you're down to listening and you love this culture and this pan, all of us have a story, so we all want to share it and listen to it. So keep in tune to the players only, you never know. Go back.
So, where's the number one? So, where's the number one pan show? Where it is?
Players only.
With the I heard you with the number one pan show.
Yeah, why pan a la carte players only, yes?
Yeah, man. Give thanks, give thanks, give thanks.
Yeah, man.
So, we are out of here for the afternoon. We had a good show. It was live and nice. Big up everybody. Thank you very much. Don't forget noon tomorrow. Some good entertainment. So far, anything is possible. Until. Peace.
Bless up.
Bless up.